Tape has just released Arc 8 Chapter 37, and this video will be a summary of the chapter. Highly recommend you check out my Arc 8 Chapter 36 summary. Anyways, let's begin. Without using your sword or kicking down the door, you must try to not make noise, or else you will attract unneeded attention from the zombies. Inside the room you could smell the blood. You're used to the smell of blood, so you can even tell how fresh the blood is. In fact, this blood was recently spilled, and it belonged to multiple people. Sure enough, there were two bodies at the end of this room, a man and woman. We see that the man and woman were mother and son. The son stayed behind to protect the mother, who was too sick to move. However, this is Wallachia, where the weak deserve to be trampled on, so this was their fate. If only I arrived a few minutes earlier. Sheathing his sword, he wonders if he would defend his family if they were bedridden. He spits out, "You know the answer." The man was unhappy at himself, as he knows he would run away with his tail between his legs. "Hey redhead, where are you?" shouts Rowan. The noise startles Heinkel, who looks out the window. He sees Rowan with some individuals next to him. The noise was now twice as loud. The small voice asks where his father's friend is. Heinkel was making sure not to make noise, but the amount of noise these two idiots were generating was unsettling. We see that Rowan is standing next to two people, Aldebaran and Cilus. Heinkel and Rowan are also equally drunk, and Heinkel is carrying Groovy under one of his arms. Al is shocked to see Heinkel still in the city. Al presumes Heinkel ran away some time ago, or else he would have been dead. But Heinkel says the same thing to Aldebaran. Heinkel and Al both don't know the outcome of Priscilla's battle. Heinkel can't believe that Priscilla has been captured, but Al says that is part of Priscilla's charm, and that's the reason why he's trying to save her. Cilus then asks his dad, Rowan, if he was responsible for throwing him to the Gladiator Island. Asking his dad if it was because he wanted Cilus to prove himself. Heinkel looks at the small boy, who is Rowan's son. Not only that, the boy is called Cilus Sigmund, the Blue Thunderbolt, the strongest swordsman in Wallachia. Of course, Heinkel is the vice captain of the Knight of Lagunica. Despite all of his corruption, he at least knows the names of important figures. Cilus is stated to be as strong as Reinhard, the Sword Saint. Heinkel looks at Cilus. He looks to be 11 or 12 years old. Heinkel did not underestimate his strength due to his age. Heinkel himself was beaten in a sword fight by Reinhard when Reinhard was only 6 years old. Rowan laughs at Cilus' question, stating no matter who he killed on the Gladiator Island, it would make no difference to his improvement. It is only a detour to the heavenly sword. Cilus says he doesn't understand why he was on the island, but Rowan says it was arranged by a certain person. Rowan looks at Cilus up and down, and Cilus asks what's up, isn't he a star actor? But Rowan asks where his legendary swords are, Masamune and Masayume. Cilus says that his father said to only carry a sword when you have the right sword, and as of now he hasn't gotten any good swords, so that's the reason why he doesn't have anything. Rowan then looks at Cilus and says that Cilus has shrunk. Cilus and Heinkel are confused, but Aldebaran understands. Al asks if Cilus is an adult usually, but Cilus asks what's the criteria to be an adult? Is it when you first slash someone? Rowan however says that Cilus is a child, and no matter if he's old or young, he will always be his child. Plus, due to his personality, Cilus will never really grow up. Aldebaran knows for sure that they are father and son. Al states that Cilus has been shrunk to being a kid. It sounds unbelievable, but witnessing the previous battlefield with dragons in the sky, this is pretty believable. Al asked how Rowan didn't notice, but Rowan says that his son's size doesn't matter. Al wonders if all of the best fathers are like this. Aldebaran asks Cilus about his size, but Cilus says that regardless if he shrinks or if he grows, he is the star actor, so it doesn't matter what size he is. Cilus, however, says he followed what the boss said alongside Gustav because what they said made sense because they had minor roles on the stage. Groovy wakes up and starts swearing. However, Cilus doesn't recognize him. Rowan says that this person is Groovy, a 9 divine general. Heinkel was shocked as he didn't expect that the emergency meat that they had and they were carrying around was an important person. We see that Rowan had tried to get Cilus to assassinate the Emperor, and Heinkel and Al are stunned at this. Groovy reveals that Cilus then told the Emperor and was then tasked with killing his father, Rowan. Groovy then asks Cilus why he didn't kill Rowan. Cilus doesn't remember, but says maybe he didn't do it because it was something he didn't dare to do. Heinkel then asks Rowan why he did that, as in telling Cilus to kill the Emperor. Rowan laughs. He tells Heinkel, "Isn't it good if you kill the Emperor? Then the entire country will attack you when you're sleeping or when you're awake. It's the best training for a swordsman like Cilus." Cilus says he can't really remember, but he is sure his father will do everything he can to make sure Cilus reaches the heavenly sword. Rowan says that is his love for Cilus. But Cilus says that if you loved your children, then you wouldn't have killed 5 or 6 of your kids before he was born. Both Cilus and Rowan start laughing. Heinkel didn't really understand this. Rowan was there, happy and laughing. Heinkel believed he was similar to Rowan, both of them being fathers to the strongest members of their respective country. But it was different. Rowan tried to kill the Emperor using Cilus. Cilus betrayed him and then Rowan became an outlaw. Yet here he was, laughing and having fun. Al says regardless of their background, there's no need to not cooperate. Groovy says he doesn't want to be left behind with the idiot father and the idiot son, but states that the city smells horrible. However, of course, they have a task of removing the zombies. Al tries to speak to Cilus, but Cilus tells Al to not be so stiff on his words. After all, Aldebaran saved him from the archer. Al says at least in the future don't kill him on a whim then, saying no number of lives is enough. Cilus laughs and says, "More lives? That's a joke." And Al says, "Oh, I'm not joking." By the way, I think he's referring to when Cilus kicked them off the roof. I'm assuming Aldebaran died at least several times from that. Al asks Rowan what he wants to do, but Rowan instead says that Aldebaran is talking to him harshly, but Al says that he has a very bad impression of Rowan. Al then turns to Heinkel, saying that they can redeem themselves by rescuing the princess. Heinkel wanted to give up after seeing the battlefield that defied the laws of the world. However, if he can reach out, if the fact that he had given up was not seen by Priscilla, then he can step forward. Heinkel then calls out the name of his wife, Luana. Heinkel asks what they can do. After all, there's only 5 of them. But Cilus says that with their hidden power, they have enough strength of 100 men. Groovy then tells Cilus to shut the F up. Groovy agrees with Heinkel, saying that they don't have enough people. However, Al changes the premise. Their goal isn't to save the Empire, but to find a path to save the Empire. Those who will save the Empire will be the heroes. They themselves aren't the heroes. Cilus' eyes light up as he states, "It's foreshadowing." The 5 of them then agree on the plan to find a path to save the Emperor and let the heroes do the bulk of the work. And with that, the chapter ends. I actually really like this chapter because it's interesting the contrast between Heinkel and Rowan, with Rowan trying to make sure that Cilus becomes the heavenly sword, literally going as far as telling Cilus to kill the Emperor so that way a lot of people will attack Cilus so he can train. And you have Heinkel who just sort of like abandoned his family. So it's really interesting to see the contrast between them. So yeah, really good chapter. I really liked it. Oh, and of course we finally got the confirmation that Cilus is in fact Rowan's son. So that's finally been confirmed.